Over the years, I accumulated 200 cans of coffee. Those 39-ounce cans, 200 of them. Now, we use about 1 can of coffee per month here in our household. 1 can per month. That's 12 a year. So if you got 200 divided by 12, that's a 16.66 year supply. So I'm sitting on a 16-year supply of coffee. 16 years. Some guy says, you're hoarding coffee. So what? What the hell difference does it make to you whether I've got 1 can of coffee on the shelf or I've got 200 cans? Let me ask you this. What the hell business is it of yours how many cans of coffee I got on the shelf? Is there any reason why you don't have 200 cans of coffee on the shelf? And some guy says, well, I'm not a hoarder. Well, didn't you take a princess cruise last year? Didn't you go out and buy a new car, you damn hoarders? I didn't buy a new car last year. I'm still driving my old one. You hoarder? You took a princess cruise last year. I didn't. What are you doing? Hoarding automobiles? Hoarding princess cruises? You know, the marketplace is out there for people to buy, sell, and trade in. You want to buy a new car? Okay. Hell, here in America, it's common for people to have 3 cars. I guess we're a nation of hoarders. I don't know how many cars are enough for you. Maybe you want 6 or 8. I got a friend of mine, he's got 20. 20 cars! What the hell can he do with 20 cars? He can't drive 20 cars a day. He collects Cadillacs. He's a car buff, you know. He's a nut. He's a car hoarder is what he is. He hoards old cars like he has a 1957 Cadillac Eldorado. I don't have a 1957 Cadillac Eldorado. And then on top of that, he's got 19 more Cadillacs. He collects Cadillacs. I collect coffee. 16-year supply. I don't know how many years supply 20 Cadillacs is, but it's more than a 16-year supply of Cadillacs. All right, so I've got these 200 cans of coffee. Well, some years back, and I bought these cans of coffee when they were $4.50 a can. And I'd go into the store and I'd see them at $4.50, so I'd buy a case. I didn't buy 1 can, I bought a case, and there's 8 cans of coffee to a case. And so I'd buy a case of coffee, and you know, you go in there, you know, once a week. It doesn't take you long to build up 200 cans. I put them up on the shelf. You know, I got a pantry, and I put them up on the shelf. Well, one day, the price of coffee spiked and went up to $6 or $7 a can. And God, you should have heard the people complain. Oh my God, the price! And you know what the excuse was? They said there was a frost in Colombia, and Juan Valdez couldn't pick coffee because the coffee crop was ruined. And I thought, gee, is Colombia the only country in the world that produces coffee? Don't they also produce coffee in Brazil? Did they have a frost in Brazil too? How about Venezuela? Does they got any coffee beans in Venezuela? It's right next door to Colombia, same latitude. How about British Guiana? You know, how about Central America? How about Mexico? Don't they grow coffee there too? How about Indonesia and India and China? Don't they grow coffee around the world? Nah, it's just price fixing is what it boils down to, and I'm not here to criticize. I mean, hell, I'm sitting on 200 cans of coffee, and so all of a sudden the price of coffee spikes to $7 a can. I guess somebody's going to say, well, Gordon, you're the cause of it. You know, you had 200 cans of coffee. If you hadn't had those 200 cans of coffee, the price wouldn't have spiked. There'd have been enough coffee out there for millions of people. Ah, come on. Grow up, would you? Wake up. Connect the dots. Now, there's no shortage of coffee today. There's a shortage of rice. I could see you calling me a hoarder if I went down to the local store and I started stocking up on rice like this guy did here. Now, he wanted some other variety of rice. There wasn't any other available, so he bought basmati. He didn't even like the basmati rice, but he bought 2. He bought 2 because that's all they had. He only wanted one, but he bought two because there was a shortage. So when you have a shortage, it exacerbates the shortage by telling us that there's a shortage. As soon as we find out there's a shortage, oh my God, I got to go out and rush out and buy rice. Boys and girls, the time to have been buying rice was years ago when there wasn't any shortage. All right, so I stopped buying coffee. I had 200 cans. There wasn't any need for me to pay $7 a can for coffee. I had a 16-year supply. Let's try it this way. Let's suppose that all you people out there in Radio Land had bought 200 cans of coffee like I did. Hell, there wasn't any shortage of coffee when I bought it. I think you could have bought 200 cans of coffee if you'd have wanted to. Instead of taking that Princess Cruise, let's see, 200 cans of coffee at $4.50 a can, 450 times 200 cans was $900. I don't know, can you take a Princess Cruise on $900? You spent your $900 on a Princess Cruise. I spent my $900 on coffee. Some other guy spent his $900 making car payments. What the hell is it to you what I spend my $900 on? I want coffee. Well, as it turns out, while you people are paying twice as much for coffee, I'm not paying any more for coffee because I'm still eating off of my $4.50 coffee. And then sure enough, after a while, the price of coffee went back down to $4.50, $5, and then I go back into the coffee buying business. Now, I don't buy very much coffee. I don't need it. I got a big supply, and I just kind of eat off of my coffee. I bought it years ago. And I'll tell you what, I feel more comfortable in life having 200 cans of coffee on the shelf than I do spending my money on a Princess Cruise, having one can of coffee on the shelf, and then waking up someday and some guy says, "Oh my God, do you know what the price of coffee is? It's $30 a can and there's none available." I don't know. It's up to you, you know. There's a food shortage coming around the world. Today, coffee's not in short supply, but rice is. Wheat's gone up to $26 a bushel. Listen, wheat and rice today, at today's prices, whatever they are, is dirt cheap.